Today I'm going to show you two books, How to Draw a Tree from the Fruit to the Forest and How to Draw a River from the Source to the Sea. They both say a step-by-step course for the nature artist, and they're both by Boon. Now Alex is a nature journaling educator, and these books actually came out in 2025. They were published by David and Charles, and they're both hardback books with 128 pages. So we will take a look first of all at How to Draw a Tree. Now this is actually the book I was going to buy because I was just looking to see if there were any new books on trees, because I adore trees. And I found there were two books, and I thought they're small books, they're not too expensive, I'm going to get both of them. So we have both of them. They're actually, the pages are A5 size, slightly bigger with the binding here and the spine, but beautiful size to carry around, and being hardback they're quite sturdy. So this one on trees has a lovely green page here, How to Draw a Tree, and we have the contents. So we have introduction, observing structure, building detail, trees in the landscape, and reimagining trees. And then this little section here is the same in both books, but obviously the information is relevant to rivers in the other books. So you've got nature journaling, identifying species, art in stewardship, resources. So we have the introduction and how to use this book. Now I always say, very important, always read the introduction, and especially read how to use the book so you can get the most out of the book. So we start off with getting to know trees, and this lovely section here that's going to ask you some questions and give you some hints of how to go about choosing and recording your special tree, for example. And I think that's really important. Things that you may not have thought about. Then we move on to the drawing materials. So this can be quite basic to start with. We've got graphite pencils, coloured pencils, fine liners and paper, eraser and pencil sharpener, and you can even add some botanical materials. Now Alex doesn't mention any brands, but if you go over to his YouTube channel you can see the actual brands of pencil he likes, but you can start with whatever you've got. So you don't need the whole big set of 100 or 200, however many pencils there are in a set. You can just start off with these colours. And we've got blending colours. Now we move on to chapter 1, observing structure. And what I really like is throughout the book, each chapter has a coloured page. So you can actually see the pages as you flip through, and each lesson has a coloured page at the start as well. So lesson 1. Simple trees. Now I'll show you the whole lesson on this one. So you can see the step by step. You've got the introduction into a simple tree, the steps and the illustrations, and then you've got some more steps here, mature tree and a gallery. Then lesson 2, nuts and seeds, and then again follows the same format. And then we've got lesson 3, fruits and berries. Lesson 4, notes and sketches, and chapter 2, building detail. So that is pine cones. I've always found when I first started drawing pine cones very difficult, but this makes it quite easy. Lesson 6, winter tree, and lesson 7, blossom in colour. And then we've got lesson 8, a tree grid. So you can practice making a field guide. Look at this, lovely. There's extra information as well to help you. And then we have chapter 3, trees in the landscape. And first of all we've got a verdant forest, lesson 9, gallery. Lesson 10, coniferous forest. Lesson 11, autumn colour, that's really beautiful. Lesson 12, layered landscape. And chapter 4, reimagining trees. So we've got some bark abstraction, urban trees, and tree frames. And there we go. And then we have the nature journaling notes here. Identifying species, art in stewardship, about the author and the index, and that's the end of that lovely book. So it says a compact guide to landscape drawing, and it mentions throughout the seasons and in all weathers, and then how to draw a river from the source to the sea. So this time we have lovely blue cover inside, and with the contents we have observing rivers, rivers in the landscape, river dwellers, reimagining rivers, and again we have the nature journaling, identifying species. So the introduction and how to use this book. Getting to know rivers, so choosing and recording your river. So we got the same hints and tips as before, but relevant to rivers. The drawing materials are basically the same as before. We've got here those selecting colours, blending colours, so these are colours that we'd need for rivers. And we move on to chapter 1, observing rivers. Lesson 1, still water, and the gallery. And then we have lesson 2, moving water, and lesson 3, river colorscape. Lesson 4, a river sketchbook. And then we move on to chapter 2, rivers in the landscape. Lovely illustration there. So we have a river's source, a young river, a mature river, and let's find the next one, a tidal river. And then we move on to chapter 3, river dwellers. So we've got birds and boats, insects and fish, and that's fish in mixed media. Then we move on to reimagining rivers. So we've got map your river, how to map your river. Look at that, a nature map, lovely. We've got the ideas for filling a wheel. Now this is an interesting one, a river wheel. And then reflections on toned paper, river pollution collage, and oh yes, we come to the end, gallery, nature journaling, identifying species, art in stewardship, and about the author and the index. So Alex is actually a nature journaling educator, so you're going to learn a lot from him. You're going to learn about being outside in nature, documenting nature, how to really observe things, how to study them, and you're going to learn how to look at your subject in detail and also the surroundings, and you're going to build your skills and your confidence. And now I've watched a few of Alex's videos, they're absolutely wonderful. So I would say to you, these books are quite affordable. It's up to you whether you get one or both of them, and I think they work really well together, and I'm really happy I've got both of them. They're perfect size for me to pop in my bag when I'm going out and carry around. I'm just really passionate about trees and the countryside, and I think rivers, this is such an interesting little book, and it's nice to have a small book where everything to do with that one particular subject is in the book to get you started on your nature journaling. So whether you're absolutely brand new to nature journaling or you've already started and you want some more ideas, I think these books will really set you on a brilliant course.